Hello?
Query number 3. Do you dig Geoff Tate?
Join me, DJ Candy P, host of Metal Massacre, as I interview musician, frontman, singer, songwriter, artist Geoff Tate of Operation Mindcrime this Thursday, February 11th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about his career and the newest release, The Key.
He's coming, are you?
You are listening to 90.7 WCLH, Wilkes University Radio. And that was Yes What Changes before I faded it out there, because we are here on the phone, at least I am, with singer, saxophonist, frontman, musician, writer, and overall artist Geoff Tate of Operation Mindcrime. How are you today, Geoff?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Okay.
Great.
So
Considering I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's like 1,000,000 degrees outside, but
yeah,
like that, I'm doing good.
you're on tour right now, right, in Arizona?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how is the tour going?
Well, it's going great. Going really good. We started a couple months ago in Europe for 5 weeks over there, 15 countries, and then now we're in the States and North America, and we're touring, I think, up until April here.
Yep. So you're playing a variety of all of your work on tour, your material with Queensryche and now with Operation Mindcrime. What have been your favorite songs to perform and present to the audience during this tour?
Well, gosh, yeah, that's a hard question to answer because I like them all.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. But I love playing, songs that people really want to hear, like, that are popular,
Yeah.
quite a bit. But I also like playing the ones that I really like, the ones that are kind of maybe, off the wall kind of songs like that. And, I like the new stuff that we're doing. We're playing a couple songs off our new album, The Key. Enjoying that quite a bit. I like the whole show. It's an interesting show. We do a short acoustic presentation as well during the show. We break some of the songs down to acoustic format, which I really like that as well too, because that's kind of like the beginning of composition. Most songs are composed on acoustic instruments. It's kind of like the building blocks of songwriting. So I really like that too.
Yes. Okay. So the melodies. So let's talk about The Key. So you probably like you said, playing and showing your new work to the audience. It was released last September, the first of a conceptual trilogy involving 4 characters. So listening to it as many times as I did, it's almost like a classic science fiction novel in music form. So are you a fan of science fiction or just fiction stories in general?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I love one of my pastimes is anthropology, and I like the study of the human condition. I like seeing where we've been and comparing that to where we are and where we might go. And science fiction kind of does that as well. It's futurist thinking about how we could make our lives better, or how our lives could be worse. If we don't watch that. And a lot of really interesting concepts that were originally in science fiction books, have made it into everyday reality, nowadays.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating to me. And so yeah, those are subjects and that I like to write about.
And do you have any favorite authors or stories that inspire or influence your work, like with The Key? Or
Well, I quite like Roger Zelazny's books. His writing style is really unique. Philip K. Dick, of course, he's written a number of short stories that seem to always make it into film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those are probably 2 of my favorites I can think of off the top of my head.
So you came up with the concept of the key and some of your past albums while traveling. Would you say that you are most creative while traveling?
Um, I'm more creative when I clear my head,
Yeah.
of clear my head of responsibilities or day-to-day things that you have to do. I mean, there's this interesting book, Chop Wood, Carry Water. It came out several years ago. It talked about simplifying your life, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Trying to simplify your life, streamline it so that you're not so encumbered with all these tasks and things that you have to do every day that take up so much of your brain space. Because I think you need time to meditate. You need time to sort of go inside yourself in order to be creative, and to take advantage of it. You got to let your mind wander, a bit.
Mhm.
And when, at least from my experience, when I let my mind wander, it wanders into some new idea that I can, make a record around.
Yeah. So just being in other places maybe gives you more of an opportunity to be in that state of mind.
Well, as of late, the inspiration for the key came from a long hike that my wife and I did across northern Spain. We'd had a real tumultuous couple of years, and we decided, let's just take some time for ourselves, and we'll go on this hike across Spain we've always wanted to do, and we'll really clear our heads. And when I did that, I just came up with idea after idea after idea, and by the time I got home a month and a half later, I had a new album in the works. So I wasn't really, planning on working, but I ended up working.
Yeah. So when you thought of this story and you went to go write it, when you're going to write a concept album in general, like how you did with the key, is it difficult to write a chapter with the amount of words a song allows you? Because I know you described the key as being equivalent, each song being a chapter in the story you're telling.
Uh-huh.
So is it hard to like take all of, like a story that you think of in your mind? Like, what are the most important elements to include, like when you're transferring it to a music form, with being a song?
Well, all those questions that you just asked are questions you ask yourself when you're outlining the story. What is happening in the story? What is happening in this particular chapter? Who is the focal point? Which character is there? A character? What's their motivation? What are they trying to get across? What's the communication that they're trying to achieve here? And you sort of write all these things down, and then that gives you a jumping off point for the lyric writing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know I need to cover these 6 questions in my lyrics. Okay, so then I use that as a kind of a jumping off point.
Okay.
Does that make sense? That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, just
Yeah,
whatever.
I've never explained it before, so
Yeah.
that's good. I'm glad you understand.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your creative ambition? So like what do you look to achieve maybe by being creative, or why do you choose to write concept albums? Because obviously they give a lot more to think about than other music being released today. So what is your creative ambition in doing this?
Well, I think that probably changes somewhat from release to release. With this album, the key, the trilogy in particular, it was always a long time goal of mine, musical goal, to create a trilogy of albums that told a story. I don't know why that is just stuck in my head for years and years, but it seemed like a kind of a satisfying thing to do. One, because it's challenging to tell a story in an album in the first place, because you have to kind of cram a lot of stuff into it. And the 3 albums gives you a chance to kind of spread out. You don't have to rush into each chapter or rush into each segment of the story. You can kind of ramble. And I wanted to experiment a lot with music arrangement, and get away from what I would call the radio or commercial format of arranging. you know, where music has to have like an intro, and 30 seconds in, you're into the chorus. It has to be that, and the whole arrangement lasts like 3 minutes to 4 minutes max. I wanted to get away from that kind of thinking, and stretch into, or go into a more stretched out arrangement of the music. And so the trilogy gives me the room to do that. You know, I can make the arrangements longer and more interesting musically, and it gives my story a chance to breathe a little bit too.
Yeah.
You know? But and I guess you could say my motivation for doing that is completely a selfish one.
Yeah, just as an artist, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm just completely coming at it from my own wants, you know, which I don't know how to approach it any other way. To me, music is a very personal thing, and you know, you write from your perspective all the time. You know, you explore your insecurities, your strengths, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. All those things are what you explore when you write. So I guess it's a continuation of that for me.
Yeah. So you were talking about how you went above and beyond with the song structure. You weren't going with a specific one, but I've heard in an interview that you maybe released the single "Reinventing the Future," that you thought it would be something some of your past or fans from when you were in Queensryche are used to with the song structure, I'm guessing. So, and it's always subjective with that, but is there a song on the key or songs on the key that you felt you pushed the most boundaries and done something you'd never done before?
Yeah, there's a couple songs on the key that I wrote entirely by myself without any other collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done that before. I've always collaborated with other writers, you know, within my group, you know. So that was kind of a first for me. And there's even more of those compositions on the second and third album. But other than that, no, I think pretty much everything on the album is can be. I mean, it's not so far. It's not dissimilar from what I've done if you look at my catalog.
Yeah.
Music.
Because you just been progressive and just done whatever you felt like as an artist to do.
Yeah, I have quite a palette to work from, so I've never been too shy about experimentation. You know?
Yeah. So you play saxophone solos on Cue and The Fall, and you've been incorporating the saxophone on albums since Promised Land. When did you actually start playing the instrument?
At Promised Land.
Promised
That's
Land?
when I started. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if you were maybe in like a high school band or something like that.
No, I played trumpet in a high school band. Yeah, but I switched to saxophone because I've always wanted to play it, and I had the time and I had some money, so I bought a saxophone and started learning how to play it.
Mm-hmm. So, well, when did you start the trumpet? Were you very young when you started that?
Oh yeah, that was my childhood. I started on piano when I was 9, and then when I got to 5th grade, I think, is when I started playing trumpet. Yeah, so 10 or 11 years old.
I know Ronnie James Dio, he credited some of his singing skills to playing the trumpet because of all the breathing exercises he learned. Do you think that when you started maybe on the trumpet or even on the piano, but the trumpet specifically with the breathing exercises, do you think that helped you musically when it came to singing or just to develop a musical ear?
Yeah, there's a couple aspects of trumpet playing and brass playing in general is the breathing aspect. You know, using your diaphragm and circular breathing is something that you use when you sing as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's similarities there. And then also you have the ear training that it takes because you can bend a note, sharp or flat, quite extensively on a brass instrument. You know, just like you can with your voice. Rather than on a piano, you hit a key and that's the note. You know, it doesn't deviate. You know.
Yeah, you have to control it.
So you have to learn how to control those bends and you learn to do that early on with your trumpets and your brass instruments, and hopefully that kind of transfers to singing as well if you're interested in taking that up.
Yep.
Good question, though. Good.
Okay, so let's get back to the key. At first, you described it as being centralized around virtual currencies and stock trading. And so far, from what I listened, it seems to be focused around time and a technology that allows one to see into the future. Did you find new inspiration and go in a different direction, or is there just more of the story to be told?
Oh no, there's more of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. The concentration of understanding reality and how it can shift and change. Once that's explained, it takes you into a different realm that has to do with international currencies and that kind of thing later on.
Okay, yeah. And you mentioned before that you wrote songs on your own, and Ready to Fly, is that one of them you wrote on your own, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask about a verse in this song. The shattering mirror represents this age. Our collective identity is broken into blades. Shards with sharp edges await release. So I was going to ask what your meaning behind this metaphor was, and does it not only describe the age in the key, but also do you think it describes our society right now in real life?
Oh, yeah. I think it definitely describes our society. The fragmentation of what is considered reality is being changed quite a bit, and challenged, and which I think is a good thing. We're really, really finally embracing the concept of we're living in the 21st century now. We don't have to adhere to primitive ideas anymore. We can challenge them and talk about them and come up with a new plan. And the more we talk about stuff, the more we understand it, and the more we understand it, the more possible it is to make changes and make life better, for everyone involved. When you think about a lot of things that are in place right now, for example, traditionalist, conservative, religious thinking, for example, is a really, really primitive idea. The concept and the ideas were thought up by primitive human beings who didn't have the worldview that we now have. And so why are those primitive ideas still adhered to when we obviously can see that there's different ways of looking at things now? We used to think that burning fossil fuels was the way to go. We thought that this was a good idea. Now we're realizing that that was not a good idea. We need to develop alternative fuels. We need to develop alternative energies. So the consciousness is shifting now away from those primitive ideas and primitive ways of doing things, and we're moving into more of a sophisticated way of interfacing with our world now. And these are some of the concepts that we're talking about on the key. Embracing a new reality, being able to see that the reality in which we live is something that we built. We made this up. It's our compounded primitive ideas built upon each other that have formed this reality. And what would it be like if we could see that and recognize that and see and invent a new reality? Where could we be?
Yep. Okay. So that's a good answer. You're responsible for the concept of the key, but were you also responsible for the cover art of the album? Was that your idea, the concept there?
Yeah, that was my idea, yeah. Realized by the artist who came up with it. But yeah, it's kind of like a close-up, and when you pull back, which you'll be able to do on the next record, you'll see that that's one element of a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was just thinking, I'm an art student here at Wilkes, and I just think it's like a strong piece because the key, you would think, like the album's named The Key, but now the key has become something like a USB drive with all this technology.
Hmm.
Yeah. And also the video for Burn. Was it difficult for you to shoot because a lot of things were going on? Were there any outtakes or how was that? How was the shooting that video?
Yeah, it was really difficult to do because of course, all the different people that are involved in a close proximity to me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was quite difficult to keep from losing my mind or staying in character. Really, it's the character that I'm portraying is somebody that's oblivious to what's going on around him because he's so focused on his goal. And all this humanity is happening around him. All this craziness and weirdness is happening, and he's completely oblivious to it. Because he's on a quest, and that's the only thing that he sees. He's kind of got blinders on.
Yeah. Hey, I was wondering if there was any like editing or people added in with the green screen because you seem like you handled it very well.
No, no, we didn't have a green screen.
Just yeah, just okay. So I'm gonna ask this next question in terms of you describing the key as a mystery. So it's a 4-character based story, and there have been 2 singers besides you on the key. You seem to be the discoverer of the technology when you sing songs like "Burn," "Reinventing the Future," and "On Cue." And Scott Mawton was your go-to man after things went down when he sings the song "Kicking in the Door." And then
Right.
Mark Daly seems to be another character who seems to be hesitant about things after maybe being involved in the discussion in the smoke-filled room. So as far as I listen, there hasn't been a clear antagonist singing an adversary character. So you have the second record already recorded. Is there going to be another strong guest appearance, similar to maybe like how Ronnie James Dio was Dr. X in Operation Mindcrime 2?
Kendall, have you been listening in on my private conversations? Because you really got this figured out.
Well, I've been listening to the key a lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You're right. There will be a strong performance and on the upcoming record. Yes.
Okay. And I just have one more question before we end it that strays from what we've been talking about, your work with Operation Mindcrime. Last summer, Neil Young had an issue with Donald Trump using one of his songs as a campaign song. If a candidate were ever cool enough to even use one of your songs, would you let a presidential candidate, use one of your songs as a campaign song?
Oh, wow. I don't think I can answer that, truthfully. I haven't really thought about it. I suppose it depended upon the candidate and did I believe in, the direction that candidate was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely say no to Trump.
You definitely, okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, yeah. So I don't want to get too into that then. So you have your next album recorded. Will you be performing any of the songs on your second album in Operation Mindcrime, the second part of the trilogy, on this tour?
No.
Not introducing any?
No, we're going to wait till after the September release of the new album before we do that.
Okay. So I will be seeing you and Operation Mindcrime at Sellersville Theater on February 28th, so I can't wait until that. Last time you came around my area, you were going Queensryche featuring Geoff Tate, and you played right in my hometown, but I couldn't go because of age restrictions, and I kept calling the place and been like, oh, you still got to be 21, and they just kept telling me no, so I'm very happy to be seeing you finally.
Oh, great. That's wonderful. Where's that going to be?
Sellersville, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Sellersville Theater.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
I've been there before. I've seen King's X there and Y&T, and it's a great place. It's an intimate place because it's kind of small, but I think it's better that way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview, Kendall. I really enjoyed that. Great questions, and you're very easy to talk to when it comes to interviewing. Very good.
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk to one of my favorite artists, you. So I hope all the rest of the tour goes great like it has been.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll get to meet up when we play Sellersville.
Okay, I'll see you there.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Decades of Metal. Decades of Metal.
Raise the slave! Raise the slave!
Decades of Metal.
Metal Massacre, playing the past and present of classic metal on Mondays from 3 to 5 on 90.7 WCLH.